constitution were very clear. Go to Article 53, Clause B. It says every child is entitled to free and compulsory education. It's unconstitutional to charge school fees in Kenya in a public school. But how many kids are being chased away from public schools? How many times do you see the cabinet secretary coming up with a school fees structure for primary and secondary schools? Yet the constitution says every child is entitled to a free and compulsory basic education, and the constitution defines a child as anybody below 18 years. Well, it doesn't define a child, it defines an adult as anybody 18 years and above, which means a child is anybody below 18 years. So look at that. There are very many other things. So what we are going to look at, I want to go back to the word that the new name of development, the new name of peace is development. I'm sorry to say that we have not taken our development agenda seriously. Today, with a per capita income of about $1,900, honestly, $1,900 per capita GDP, where are you really on the rank? Where do you belong? You don't exist. You can influence nothing. You mean nothing anywhere. You are just there occupying space that you have been unable to utilize. And so, when we talk of peace, peace is not moving around and saying that we are uniting Kenyans. To create peace is to put money in the pockets of Kenyans, is to put food on the tables of Kenyans, is to put kids in schools with adequate teachers, with adequate equipment and facilities. So, when I reflect on the question of peace today, I realize that we are not working for peace. We are working for war. And to do that, I only have to look at our budget. Look at our budget, and you realize that really we are in a difficult situation. My last computation showed that our budget, as it is today, is not balanced. We are not able to balance our budget without borrowing heavily. And when we borrow, we are not borrowing to invest in strategic investments that will spur this economy. Then there's also a lot of illicit borrowing that is not in the budget. And you realize that at the end of the day, the budget becomes meaningless. You don't even plan for it. After you have gone through all that trouble, all the people from the grassroots to the ministries, and it comes to parliament, it is passed, it is taken and put aside. Then we begin running this country without a budget, without a plan. And we go and follow the president wherever he goes. And that's when we begin making an impromptu budget. That's when we learn there's a bridge that needs fixing, there's a road that needs fixing, and therefore the president is going to allocate money. We're going to do all this. Then we begin running around like totally disorganized people who don't want to develop, because you cannot develop without a plan. If you look at, when we were younger, there used to be 5-year development plans and stuff. We came up with Vision 2030. When you look at Vision 2030 now, it looks like a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario when you look at it. So, then you go back and ask yourself, Do we really want to develop this country? Right now, our debt, the repayment of our debt is more than what we spend on anything else. The last time I checked, we were spending 82% of our tax money to repay debt, which means only 18 shillings out of every 100 shillings remains with the government to provide services. That model of doing things is a recipe for war. Because when people will get very poor in this country, right now things can work because you, the middle class, are subsidizing and creating a false reality. You are subsidizing government and creating a false reality.